Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, we receive the wisdom from the unseen, and we go as guided. And as at par for the course, powerful times. As you all know, the Sun and Pluto just on the 20th. Let me just bring this up and jump in. And as you're joining, please put a shout out in the comments. And remember that we take your comments and questions live throughout the broadcast. Welcome, Ava. So let me just bring up our astrological influences. And you're going to see why this is also powerful, the energies that are happening. And we're really kicking off the year. And, yes, we're like third weekend, fourth weekend coming of January. But the point is, on the 20th of January, we had Pluto and the Sun hand in hand, and Pluto entering Aquarius for the first time in approximately 248 years. We've talked about this a lot, not since the French and American and industrial revolutions. Right behind it, so tomorrow, the 25th, we have the first full moon of the year. It's a Leo full moon at 5 degrees Leo, opposite the Sun and Pluto. So there's this opposition. And it's also known as the Wolf moon. And right behind that, I'm showing it as the 27th because of Greenwich Mean Time. It occurs on the 26th, on Friday, into the 27th, depending on where you are. And this is, the next big piece is Uranus stationing direct at 19 degrees Taurus. And anytime a planet stations direct, the intensity, it's like the train analogy where the train comes into the station or when it leaves and it's getting ready to, the vibration, the intensity of it. And this is Uranus, expect the unexpected, the higher mind, and what comes out of left field and everything. So the intensity of it is magnified. So we literally have Sun and Pluto walking hand in hand into Aquarius, followed by this Leo full moon. Leo, life force, the Sun, Leo, full moon, followed right behind it with Uranus stationing direct. At that point, so come Friday into Saturday, at that point, all planets are moving direct. None are retrograde. And so this brings us to our main theme. And it is literally all systems go, with the caveat of seek and ye shall, underlined, the unseen, seek and ye shall, underlined, find. And that seek and ye shall find, and you see the image, it's this beautiful imagery of the astrological wheel, and it's like the golden ratio, this continuing spiral. this absolute beauty of the continuity. Remember, that was the word they used with us last week or the week before. It was about the word continuity. It doesn't mean that everything is the same. It just means that we continue. And so with that, all systems go. So all planets are direct. Everything is all systems go. Seek and ye shall find. And the point of that seek and ye shall find is from Matthew 7:7-8. It says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. So the moral of the story here is, which is the beauty of our mantra, I'm going to bring this up. Everything it's wide open opportunity. And you see this beautiful image, the sun beginning to rise up, and you see this massive field of limitless sunflowers. And remember from, oh my gosh, almost at the beginning of this journey back in November of 2021, all throughout 22, 23, remember we had this image of the sun, of the radiant sunflowers, and the unseen said to us, this image of these radiant sunflowers epitomizes the energy of the new, of where we are going, matriarchal, Aquarian rule. And here it is. And so the unseen then, with our mantra, wide open opportunity, it's that same image of this just limitless field of sunflowers. So the unseen, they are saying to us, all systems go, seek and ye shall find, wide open opportunity. And opportunity, wide open opportunity. So this is an abundant, powerful, abundant, auspicious time. And remember, 2024, a capstone moment. So this whole year, 2024 is a capstone. It's the floating 1/3 of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the higher mind, the lifting off of the base. The 2/3 of the base of the pyramid is rooted. It's massive and wide and weighted. And then the top third floats. This is the energy. And they were talking about this because, so these energies, and they said, hidden no longer, there is gold in these hills. And what they mean by that is there's gold in you, there's gold in others, and there's gold in all things. And remember, gold from an occult, from a spiritual occult wisdom, from the antiquities, gold is highly prized. It's why it's like the alchemy. It's about the alchemist turning lead into gold. And they're saying, hidden no longer, there is gold in these hills. And these hills represents all things, all of us. So it's really quite powerful with these energies. And let me just bring up as well, before we jump into it, with this, so with the Sun and Pluto entering Aquarius, and then the Leo full moon tomorrow, and then Uranus stationing direct on Friday/Saturday, all planets are direct until April 1st. And that's when Mercury begins its first retrograde. So, and remember, because Mercury went direct on January 1st. So here we have 3 months later, April 1st. But there was something about this. When I saw this and I saw that Mercury goes retrograde on April 1st to April 25th, there was this kind of like April Fool's trick about this. And this, so because typically when Mercury goes retrograde, it's about slow down, gear down, we revisit things, put an RE in front of it, and it can wreak havoc with communication and contracts and systems and everything. This time it's saying to me, the unseen is saying, it's Mercury, the trickster, going, ha ha ha, Yes, I'm going retrograde. However, all systems are still go. It's like a do-over. It's like keep going. And you're going to see this message about go, go, go. Keep going. So this April Fool's is really an April Fool's. It's a Mercury retrograde, yet it's not. It is about relooking at things, but in a, as you're, how can I, they're saying to me, it's like, so it's driving a vehicle and you look in the rear view mirror at the same time. It doesn't mean that while you're moving forward, you're driving forward and you look in the rear view mirror that you're going backwards. You're not. You're driving forwards. However, you're utilizing the rear view mirror as a barometer for safety, to see what might be coming behind you or passing you or these types of things. But the movement, the energy is forward. So bear that in mind. And then just right before it going direct on the 25th of April, there's the very auspicious Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that happens on April 20th. Then on May 2nd, Pluto will do its final retrograde back into Capricorn for just a smidge. It's from May 2nd to October 11th. It retrogrades and then it goes forward. And it is fully in Aquarius for the next 20 decades. 2 decades, 20 years. So you can see I'm like, ooh, auspicious. The point is, the unseen said the first 4 months, right now, these first 4 months, wide open opportunity. So again, give you our mantra image, wide open opportunity, sunflowers. It is radiant, abundant, fertile, go, go, go. Then they said the first 7 months, it's all systems go. So while the first 4 months are wide open opportunity, the first 7 months, it's about all systems go. Things are still moving forward. The opportunities may slow, or you're in the opportunities. You've, in essence, received these opportunities or this wide open opportunity, so you're into them. They're happening. They've occurred in the first 4 months. For the first 7 months, it's all systems go. Things are continuing to move forward because you're in these new opportunities. And then they said latter half of 2024, so August on, they said, quote, mixed bag of nuts and surprises. So meaning that things may be a little bit up and down and around and sideways, but things are still progressing. It's just going to be a mixed bag of nuts and surprises. And that's okay. I mean, it's nice, you get a mixed bag of nuts, right? I mean, you get a can of mixed nuts. What's not to love? I mean, there might be 1 or 2 in there where you're like, I don't like those that much. However, on par, you love a mixed bag of nuts and surprises. And then they said, and yet, go, go, go. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing you can't do or accomplish. Persevere and prevail. And then I heard the song from Andra Day, and it's called Rise Up. And I'm just going to read really quickly. It says, you're broken down and tired, a living life on a merry-go-round. And you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're going to walk it out and move mountains. We're going to walk it out and move mountains. And the chorus line is, and I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves, and I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. So this beautiful message of rising up, of go, 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 of wide open opportunity, and really a very auspicious capstone moment this entire year. And again, it won't be without its flavors, is what they're saying. They're using the word flavors. However, the ingredients, the flavors, that's what makes any great dish memorable and enjoyable and intriguing. It is the flavors. It is the notes, the high notes, the low notes, the after notes. And it's not going to leave a bitter taste in our mouths. It's not going to be like, ugh, no, this is enjoyment. This is savoring something good and receiving the flavors. And they talked about the fact about coming online. So the second thing, to be, and it's always about to be, meaning the number two and the number two and the letter B, but it's also to be, what we are to be. And they said coming online like nothing before, like nothing you've ever seen, witnessed. And then they said bear witness. So in other words, things are going to come on. Think Aquarius, and it has to do with, it's an air sign, it's a fixed air sign, and it has to do with communication and advancement. And here's Pluto in Aquarius, industrial revolution. And they're saying coming online. And there's all this talk about AI. We've talked about this, original intelligence and artificial intelligence, and the internet, online, how we're communicating right now. And there's a choice here. And the choice is coming online, original intelligence, higher mind, soul source connection, and how that kind of online God positioning system, that higher source, that online activity. So coming online like nothing before, like nothing you've ever seen or witnessed. And then they said, bear witness. Like we will bear witness to that. And so our choice is, do we choose to come online? Do we choose to connect online with original intelligence, like the intelligence, or artificial intelligence? And you can see my face, and for those listening, my silence. There's no choice. And it's to recognize that artificial intelligence, it comes from original intelligence. It's only as smart as what is being programmed and received. It will never replace original intelligence. Period. End of story. Have a nice day. Because it arrives, original intelligence arrives from the unseen, from source. It is what creates all. And thereby, to come online with that alignment, mic drop, hands down, amazing. So let's look at our main energies. And because this is really quite, and we're going to work with the Sabian symbols in today's show a lot. So of course it's the creative to initiate. It's January, so it's a 1. We have double 24s because today is the 24th and it's 2024, and we refer to that as 24. 1, 24, 24. 24 is about return, go back. Return doesn't mean, and return, Amaji, return to the great mother. I'm just bringing up the image really quickly. Return to the mother. It's a Sumerian word. And it's about manumission and liberation and freedom. This movement from enslavement to liberation, to freedom. And so 24 represents return. And that is, we're returning to this golden age of Aquarius, of matriarchal rule, of the divine feminine. 2024 is an 8-year. It's uniting, coming together, bringing all of our shadow selves and our light selves and every aspect. It's unifying us from the inside out. And then it becomes a 15. So the 1, the 24, and the 2024 become a 15. And 15 is all about authenticity. It is to operate and to come from a place of authenticity, which restores and creates balance, because you're in harmony with yourself. You're in harmony with your soul source connection. So when we're authentic, we are not outside of ourselves. We are not out of alignment with original intelligence because we're divinely connected to it. It's only when we step out of that authenticity that there's dis-ease, imbalance, distress, all of these different ailments, if you will. And last but not least, the 24 and the 15 become a 6. So we have double sixes. And it's about conflict and destiny, but in this instance, they're talking, which is destiny, but what they're talking about, the unseen is talking about, is letting go of conflict. We do not need to be in conflict with ourselves, with each other, with the world, with the events. It doesn't mean do nothing, and it doesn't mean to condone something or to be absent. It's simply to see through, to pierce the illusion, and to not be in conflict with the arc of destiny, the forward movement. That, and to rise up in the sense of, to rise up unafraid of being sovereign, whole, centered, illumined, like higher mind, higher education. Because to be anything less than that is to be in a lower octave. It is to be in conflict. And we can see on the world events what's happening, this last hurrah of trying to hold on to a bygone era. It's over. But they're in conflict with that truth. There are those that are in conflict with it, and there are those that are in harmony and in destiny and alignment with it. And so, and of course, as we've said, the arc of destiny moves forward. And so that is where this will all go. So these are the main energies. You can see some powerful energies, powerful moments. And if you're not feeling it yet, meaning where's the opportunity or it hasn't happened, release that and simply say to yourself, to source and everything, I am open to receive, I am open to receive, I am open to receive. That signals to the universe, you are open to receive what's in your highest and best, what may have been hidden from you, what may have not yet arrived, and how you will transform and change in this capstone moment. Because all of the energies, powerful energies, all moving forward, and this whole piece about, it's all systems go, wide open opportunity, go, go, go. And yet don't do it, go, go, go. Don't be hasty or foolish or impatient. Be in alignment with the truth, the auspiciousness of the energies. That's important. So now let's look at, because we're going to get heavily, I'm going to bring this up. It is the astrological chart, and I'm going to leave it up for a minute as I talk to you, share with you two beautiful things. So keep in mind, as you see, this is for the Leo full moon, the wolf moon. It's the astrological chart. And in the center, you'll see two triangles, two capstones. One is in blue and one is in red. And they look like triangles. And so the blue one looks smaller, but its pinnacle point, the top of the pyramid, is at Saturn. The left side is at Jupiter. The right side is at Venus. Then you see the larger red capstone. And this, in the current astrology, this Leo full moon creates a fixed T-square. And so the red capstone, which is a conflict, and the blue one, which is harmonic, share Jupiter at their pinnacle, at their apex point. So Jupiter bridges these two. And then with the red, at the top, you've got the moon, the sun and Pluto. And down to slightly to the right, you'll have the full moon. So just bear this in mind so that And then I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to go to Pam Youngin's North Point Journal to start. And I'm going to put my specs on so I can see everything. And so here we are. She says, the full moon with the Aquarius sun and mighty Pluto traveling side by side over the next few days, we expect this week's full moon to be especially impactful. The lunation perfects at 9:54 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday, January 25th, that's tomorrow. At that time, the moon will be at 5 degrees 14 minutes Leo, opposite the sun and Pluto, and also in tight square aspect to the giant planet Jupiter. This arrangement of the planets creates a configuration called a fixed T-square. To visualize this configuration, imagine a large letter T in the sky. At one end of the bar across the top of the letter is the moon in Leo, that's on the right in the image that I had shown you, while the sun and Pluto are at the other end, which was in the left of the image I showed you, in Aquarius. Jupiter in Taurus is located at the base of the stem in what is called the apex position. Remember, Jupiter is sharing this apex position with the blue capstone, as I refer to it, and the red capstone. So it's bridging these two. This is called a fixed T-square because all 4 planets are in fixed signs. By nature, fixed signs tend to resist change, especially if the force for change seems to be external rather than internal. So we can see on the world stage how it's very easy to see the opposition, this resistance to change, of leaving the Piscean patriarchal era and moving to the Aquarian matriarchal era. This full moon T-square indicates a buildup of tension this week that will reach a crescendo at the time of the lunation. Under this increased pressure, some may react irrationally or act out of a need to maintain control, especially if they have a strong attachment to the status quo or to current forms and structures. See, there's this thing of not wanting things to change. There are those that are absolutely running towards it, are openly embracing it, and there are those that are cleaving and trying to hold on to the status quo, those current forms and structures, the beast they know. But it's going. It's hasta la vista. It's on its way out, and yet namaste. We bow to the divine in the divine masculine, the patriarchal, and the Piscean era. With Jupiter at the apex of the T-square, we will need to watch the tendency to be opinionated, self-righteous, and dogmatic. We may go to extremes and be overly dramatic as we express our beliefs. And remember, the truth needs no explanation. It speaks for itself. So we can be calm and centered and resolute and, quietly persevere. In this quietly meaning just to create no drama. We don't have to create drama because there is a larger plan playing out. It says, Pam Youngins goes on to say, a judgment of right and wrong could get in the way of finding workable solutions. And thereby, where's the middle? Where's the compromise and the communication and these types of things? She goes on to talk about the Pluto effect. So here, with Thursday's full moon opposing Pluto, this lunation is likely to provide us with some important insights into the Pluto in Aquarius effect. Pluto oppositions usually manifest through power struggles and tug-of-war scenarios, but the areas of contention may be different now that the dwarf planet is in this socially and scientifically progressive, independent, revolutionary, rule-breaking sign. Possible themes for this full moon thus include inequality and injustice, civil rights and individual freedoms, the power of the group, and the decentralization of control. We are likely to see examples of how those in leadership roles dramatically roar in an effort to intimidate and maintain control. The shadow side of Leo the lion. Because remember, when you're in rightness, Leo is the head of the jungle. It doesn't have to roar to be recognized. Our challenge individually is thus to manifest the positive qualities of Leo, even when under pressure. These traits are clearly demonstrated by the transformed, no longer cowardly lion as he appears at the end of The Wizard of Oz, confident and in charge, yet also gracious, open-hearted, and kind. There's a major transformation. And I'm going to bring this image in now, and I'll come back to the finish with Pam. I saw this online on YouTube, and it is the image of a young elk in a native habitat, if you will, with a huge tire around its neck. So at some point in time, this young elk was able or stuck its head through the center of the tire, and as it's matured, as it's growing and its horns are newly forming, it can't get it off of its head any longer. This image, and then you'll see 1 minute 13, 113 in the lower frame. So this number 13 that represents M as in Mary is the 13th letter in the alphabet. It represents the divine feminine. 1, 11, the most intuitive. 1 is the creative force to move forward. The reason this image captured my attention, and I'm sharing this with you in today's show, is because this is exactly what we're talking about. This enslavement, this having something, this burden that has been around our necks, upon our shoulders. And the beauty of the story that went along with this image was that individuals assisted this young elk and removed the tire. So it was liberated. It was no longer shackled and burdened by the weight of this tire, this object. The association is from Exodus to deliverance, to promised land. And from the Piscean era, the weight of the Piscean era, and more so the shadow elements of the divine masculine, representing the tire that has been burdened around the neck, that we've not been able to release it, and yet with the assistance of what I'm going to call divine beings, and divine beings meaning humans, our fellow humans, seeing the need, the distress, coming to the aid of, working in harmony with nature and creation, and liberating this young elk. It's the same forces that the unseen, that move through the unseen, that are doing the same thing for all of us. This advancement, this go, 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 move forward. Let me complete with Pam Youngin's. So we now move into the Uranus effect, and she's talking about sideways spinning Uranus is at a virtual standstill in the heavens this week. The planet will complete its 5-month retrograde period and station direct on Friday at 19 degrees 5 minutes Taurus. Whenever a planet comes to its station, we feel its influence more strongly than usual. The Uranus effect often manifests through unexpected or sudden events, which are designed to break us free from where we have been stuck or limited. Imagine the young elk, tire around its neck. We may experience the challenging side of mundane Uranus through rebellious, erratic, or radical behaviors. But we can also benefit from the planet's higher octave role as divine mind, as it brings new insights and original ideas into our awareness. With Uranus stationing direct the day after a powerful full moon, and with it being the planetary ruler of Aquarius, thus strongly linked to the Sun and Pluto as they transit the 11th sign, we anticipate that there will be significant shifts occurring in the last half of the coming week. These shifts may be in our, quote, real world experience, or in our consciousness, or both. So again, big energies, big changes, advancement, liberation, these are the key messages. I'm going to share with you really quickly. This comes from, it's a full moon update from the Power Path School of Shamanism, and it's Lena Stevens. And speaking about the full moon, she says, also known as the wolf moon, this moon inspires expansion as well as triggers a need to find inner spark, passion, and courage to go for it. The key is to open your heart wide to your personal joy so you can experience wonder and awe from the place of childlike innocence, as if you are seeing the world for the very first time. Empty your vessel, throw off the shackles, see the world, see this year, this capstone moment, as if you're seeing the world for the very first time. This will ignite a certain level of focus that can help you anchor new dreams and intentions. You can spend some time making a list of the things that inspire you and that you love to do, big and small, as well as working with your imagination to stretch beyond your limitations around what could be. And then she says in capital letters, what if, question mark. And I said to a dear friend and colleague, I said, etch-a-sketch yourself yesterday. I'm like, clear all of these thoughts, limitations, beliefs, everything, and simply go out and see what's on offer. Have this experience. Because then what you're meant to receive will reach you. It will come to you because you've cleared the slate. You've etch-a-sketched yourself and you've cleared any limitations, thoughts, beliefs, all of this. You're going to see things fresh and new. And then it will speak to you. You'll receive it. Lena Stevens goes on to say, this could be a magical time where you begin to see the path opening to living life more fully. It could also be a time of frustration, especially if you find yourself distracted by other people's challenges and lose sight of your own journey. So in essence, stay centered and focused. Do not get caught up in the illusion. Be resolute and pierce the veil of illusion. She said, you may be tested during this time. It is best to turn any feeling of inner tension into forward and determined action. Self-esteem may be at war with the need for expansion. So take courage, but tread carefully so you don't overextend or make hasty decisions. This is about slow and steady wins the race. It's our other mantra. Some relationships may require gentle boundaries, as it is important to carve out space for yourself during this powerful time. It is also important to bring fun, play, humor, and creativity into your interactions. What do you love? Allow yourself to do, have, or feel it. So, beautiful energies. Ava is saying, I am feeling this burden around my neck. Was born with the umbilical cord around the neck. A chiropractor is helping me liberate the tension in the muscles with great success. Yes, see, so how perfect is that to the analogy of the young elk with the tire, with Ava being born with the umbilical cord around her neck, and how that you can certainly die in birth from that. And yet there's also this piece of that through the challenge is the liberation, the life. And so what was restricted or constricted is released and removed. And that is powerful, beautiful, beautiful share, Ava. Thank you for that. And Olivia saying, I'm listening on the car. So, and wonderful to have you, Olivia. I know you weren't potentially going to make it. So, and recognize, Ava, with this, when the unseen is saying, it's as simple as releasing the belief. Your soul brought that experience in. So it's absolutely purposeful for you to move beyond, to triumph beyond the constriction, beyond, so to etch-a-sketch, see in a new light from a childlike awe and wonder, the positive aspect of what's perceived as a negative experience. Umbilical cord wrapped around the neck and the effects of that. However, it's purposeful, it's divine. Your soul brought it in. And this on a micro level is the truth of what's happening right now. We all said we'd show up. We all said we would experience this from this transition from patriarchal to matriarchal, Piscean to Aquarian, divine masculine to divine feminine, and that we would be the bridge of that experience. It is not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It is to bow to the divine in the era that we were in and to openly receive and bow equally to the one we are before us, the one before us, the one we are receiving. Could not be more on point. So let me bring back the image of the Leo full moon chart, and we're going to move into the Sabian symbols, and these are so powerful. So remember this return, it's hexagram 24, and which is about go back, return, go back. And just quickly, hexagram 24, its hidden influence is the divine feminine, the receptive force. We're to yield to the new. Its underlining cause is 44, coming to meet, encounter. So we're coming to meet ourselves. We're coming to meet our higher mind. We're coming online like never before because we are returning. And I'm going to bring this up before we go to the Sabian symbols. It's one of our first quotes. It says, progress is often marked by a slow return to original sincerity, original intelligence, original sincerity, authenticity. The image shows a white dove in its earthly form, standing, perched, standing on an accent table, if you will. The background is like a chalkboard, this chalky gray color. And superimposed against the gray chalkboard is the ethereal outline, just magnificent and large image of this dove in its original sincerity. So human form or earth form on the left, soul form, magnified soul form on the right is superimposed. And we're talking about this moment, this capstone moment where progress is often marked by a slow return to original sincerity, original intelligence, soul source connection, soul self. And here we are. So these are the backdrop to going to the Sabian symbols, where I will now bring up so the chart that we're looking at. The first symbol, and we're talking about the blue, let me just bring it back up really again. There we go. So here's the natal chart for the Leo moon, Leo full moon. And we're looking at the blue triangle, the blue capstone first. And so Saturn is at the pinnacle. And it says Pisces 5, which is Pisces 6. And it says a parade of army officers in full dress. The dedication of human beings to the service of their community and the assurance that it will be emotionally sustained by the people at large. Here we see at work the emotion-rousing appeal of social activities which demand the surrendering by the individual of his personal way of life, his opinions, and his comfort. The socializing process is pictured in all its intensity, but what is implied even more is the support that the socialized person can expect from the collectivity if he is ready to act, I would say when he is ready to act, and to sacrifice themselves for the nation or the group. See, it's about the ego mind personality is sitting in the sidecar now. It's going to take a back seat to the soul self. This symbol allegorizes, and Saturn is the master teacher. So the symbol allegorizes the power generated by a totally accepted and enforced collective discipline, and the exaltation and mass response which he who has achieved this self-surrender to a social tradition can expect in return. The key word is group responsibility. It epitomizes the Aquarian age, we the people. It is a we. We go from I to we. So what we do as individuals will now be in service to. And it's about this self-surrender. It's about aligning your ego, mind, personality, your divine masculine, in service to the receptive force, your soul source connection, your soul, its mission, and the divine feminine. That's first key. The other aspect in blue, the next aspect, is Venus in the triangle, in the capstone. A human soul, in its eagerness for new experiences, seeks embodiment. It seeks to embody the new. A powerful yearning for whatever will increase the scope and depth of one's contacts with other living beings. We want a higher connection. We want a greater life experience. We want a richer relationship, life experience. One wonders what the clairvoyant saw and said to the recorder of this symbol. How did she, Elsie Wheeler, visualize a human soul, or as the recorder, Mark Edmund Jones, recorded it, it's being receptive to growth and understanding. So in other words, how did Elsie visualize a human soul, or Mark, as he recorded it, it's being receptive to growth and understanding? What is implied in the position of this symbol seems to be the strong drive in every human consciousness or will toward new experiences, whether they are constructive or destructive. Interesting point. Human, man, womankind, may grow and gain understanding and wisdom through both types, constructive and destructive. Yet the yearning needs to be tempered by an instinctive evaluation of the end results of the experience. This symbol shows us what is behind all uses of power, anabolic or catabolic, a strong desire to prove oneself. So in essence, again, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't demonize. If a soul's path is to gain understanding and wisdom through destructive experience, interaction, nature, so be it. It's not something I would choose. It's not something I would recommend. It's not something the unseen says, yes, go forth and conquer, and yet it doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it, however, and so we can see this, two camps, constructive, destructive. It's the same thing, we're seeing this. Here's the bridge element, and this symbol could not be more poignant and powerful. So remember, Jupiter is the apex of the fixed T-square that Pam Youngans from North Point Journal was speaking about. And it's also then the bridge. It's shared by both the blue capstone and the red capstone in our natal chart for the Leo full moon. And Jupiter, it says, it's at Taurus 7, it says, the woman of Samaria at the ancestral well. The meeting of the traditional past and of the creative spirit pointing to the future. So this has to do with, as you'll see here in a second, with Master Jesus. What has dominated the Piscean era and 2,000 plus years? Master Jesus. The crucifixion, the resurrection, the liberation and the payment of sins for all humanity, and deliverance. Exodus, deliverance. This symbol refers to a most important but usually narrowly interpreted or interpreted away episode of the Christ mythos. Early in his ministry, Jesus meets a Samaritan woman at an ancestral well. This woman belongs to a tribe despised by the Jews. Moreover, she is unmarried and therefore on the fringe of even her own society. It is to just that kind of woman that Jesus reveals that he is the Messiah. I am he. A revelation that he apparently will not bestow even upon his disciples, at least not in words. Words in occultism are the creative factor, the creative force. What does this mean? Jesus, as the avatar incorporating the Christ impulse, came to replace the old tribal order with a new order based on universal love. It is not to representatives of, or even to men still attached to, the old order that Jesus could reveal his spiritual, evolutionary, and society-transforming status. They had instead to reach a point where they could discover his avatarship, as did Peter just before the transfiguration scene. But to the woman of Samaria, who in her openness to love's urgings had already repudiated any narrow subservience to the old order, Jesus could reveal his function, his truth, his purity. The highest meets the lowest when this lowest is free from traditional bonds and open to love. They're open to the way of love, the divine feminine, the purity of this forward advance. Because at the time of this occurrence, the height of patriarchal rule is playing out. It's at this. It's not the height of it, but it's like Uranus stationing. It's that the intensity of it is louder. So just the creative future descends first to that which has become chaos, state of chaos. An old order is never open to a new revelation until it has accepted disorder in the name of that power which subsumes all forms of order, i.e. love. So the old order is not open to this new revelation until it has accepted disorder in the name of the power which subsumes all forms, love. Love conquers all. In this stage, a contrasting element enters upon the scene. It is no longer a collective cultural effort based on past knowledge. It's not on the beast we know, as in the preceding symbol, but a, quote, meeting. It's coming to encounter, 44, this coming to encounter, to meet, but a meeting that introduces into the collective situation a totally new factor which transcends it. Master Jesus was the meeting that introduces into the collective situation a totally new factor that transcends it. They're saying to us, coming online like never before, like nothing you've ever seen. That hidden no longer, there is gold in these hills, in self, in others, in all things. It's all systems go, seek and ye shall find. Wide open opportunity. The Sabian symbol concludes in capital letters, a new quality of being is revealed, which renders the old patterns obsolete. The old us, the old order, the old way of things, the old order is replaced. There is a new quality of being that is revealed. And I'm just looking at this. So remember, that bridges. Master Jesus is just like he did at the time of moving from Aries to Pisces, from the ram to the fisher of men. So from the Aryan era to the Piscean era. Master Jesus was the bridge. He bridged those. Here, at this moment in time, 2,000 plus years later, the Sabian symbol that represents the woman, the Samarian woman at the well with Master Jesus, where he reveals himself to her in the new order, is bridging this moment from Piscean to Aquarian. Mic drop. It's just fascinating. So now we move on to the red capstone. Let me just bring this back up really quickly. And again, you'll see the red triangle, and this is, of course, the fixed T-square that Pam Youngins was speaking about. And as we go back, the moon, so here's the Leo full moon, its Sabian symbol, a conservative, old-fashioned lady is confronted by a hippie girl, hippie in quotes. The need to transcend our subservience to fashion in morals as well as in clothes. This refers to the ever-changing pageant of social values as ideals of human relationships succeed one another. One generation facing in the next an antithetic picture of what it has been brought up to consider worthwhile and decent. So as we advance, as we progress, as humans and society and so forth, what the old cherished and was right and true for them is no longer. There's a bridge to a new order, a new what we consider worthwhile and decent in the current age. The confrontation may lead to great bitterness, yet it should show us the impermanence of most of what society impresses upon our collective mentality. See, there's an impermanence there, and it says, with this symbol, we are now dealing with cultural values and the emotional impact they have upon our character formation. The Piscean era has left this mark of what people value and what they consider of value and worthwhile and so forth. And it's leaving, and thereby there's confrontation, there's conflict, there's emotionality. And so, whereas the first degree of Leo dealt with an individual crisis of reorientation, this sixth degree refers to a collective cultural and social crisis which challenges us to realize the relativity of social values, the impermanence of them. So there's a section of people that want the old order to stay. They do not want it to change. They are afraid of the change. They are afraid of who they are without it. And then there are those that say, let me turn over every log and rock and stone. Let me look inside to see who I might become. Let me be childlike to advance. Let me harness that energy of empowerment to liberate myself, to rise up, to unburden. These Sabian symbols are so powerful. So now we move to the Sun and then Pluto. The Sun, a masked figure, performs ritualistic acts in a mystery play. The individual's involvement in long-established patterns of activity aiming at the release of collective power. The great mysteries of the past were created by inspired seers and adepts for the purpose of transferring to a mentally conscious and humanly significant level of group operation, what in the lower kingdoms of life we call instincts. So higher octave, bringing them down for us to receive as knowings, instincts. Biological and cosmic energies can thus be used to ensure that social processes do not lose touch with the deeper realities of planetary and universal life, a soul source connection, original intelligence. Rituals are binding, and often the performers wear masks, for they do not act as human persons. It's not James, it's Dearjames. It's not James, it's the unseen. So we wear a mask because we recognize that it's what comes through us. It is source, it is God's source, the higher aspect, original intelligence, and therefore they do not act as human persons, but as focal points for the release of transpersonal forces. This first symbol presents to us social processes in their deepest occult meaning wisdom aspect. The individual is seen having assumed a transpersonal responsibility. This is calling for us to recognize that in the Aquarian matriarchal era, we are to step outside of our ego, mind, personality selves, to be transpersonal. It's transpersonal responsibility. It's what comes through us. We are the custodian of it. And how might that affect the world we live in and ourselves, our relationships, our relationship with self? Next, we move to Pluto, an old Adobe mission in California, the power inherent in all great human works to endure far beyond the workers' lifespans. The works and spirit of the Spanish priests who directed the building of the California missions have had a lasting influence on the development of this land. These remain as a monument to the men and women who were able to make their mark upon this alien environment. While the zodiacal sign Capricorn begins with a symbol of socio-political power, Aquarius at its start presents, and remember, Pluto left Capricorn and just entered Aquarius. Aquarius at its start presents a more spiritualized and idealistic or creative picture of the social forces at work. Higher octave, what's moving through us. Moreover, it stresses the enduring character of human achievements ensouled by a great vision. At least within the frame of reference of our Western civilization, the symbol speaks of the projection of a noble ideal into concrete forms of beauty and significance. It is capturing this. It's the the magician and the star. It's taking what comes down from the unseen and bringing it into to create this noble idea into a concrete form, manifestation. Thus, of the radiation of a civilizing power into an institution, offering to the primitive man or humankind the opportunity to reach a higher, more organized and productive level of activity. It's to reach for the stars. It's to manifest and harness these energies, the star and the magician, and the symbol to concretization, to make something concrete, tangible. So this symbol speaks to us of the concretization of an ideal. And remember, the ideal becomes the new reality. So this also implies the immortalization of an individual within a great collective and cultural enterprise. It's things that become immortal because they are a part of us, that it's indelible. And yet we evolve and change. We move forward. It's fluid, not fixed. One last thing, I'm mindful of the time, and there's so much here, but I want to complete all of this. It's so powerful. So you see a very solid blue line in the center of the astrological natal chart. One end is Mercury, and the other is Uranus. And with these, Mercury, it's Capricorn 15. In a hospital, the children's ward is filled with toys. The responsibility of society to ensure the welfare and total health of the new generation. The socio-cultural process must look to the future as well as to the past. It has created conditions which may harm the children who will carry forward its work, and it must try to repair these negative conditions through love as well as through physical care. In personal life, the individual should take great care of his or her fresh intuitions and their dreams of future growth. They are often fragile developments, which the pressures of everyday life can easily distort or destroy. This is the last stage of Scene 19, which began with a powerful claim for socio-political power. The exercise of such a power can indeed produce social conditions which endanger the healthy and spiritual unfoldment of a community, and especially of its children. Children come in whole and complete. The veil is almost non-existent or so thin, and it is only as we are learned behaviors that dim, and one could say beat out, dim down and beat out, that which is pure and good. There is therefore constant need for tender care as well as skill to neutralize the destructive tensions of social living. This Sabian symbol, Mercury, how we speak, and Uranus, higher mind, the higher octave of Mercury, and they are the harmonic blue line in this chart. And they are saying that the adults in the world have a responsibility to the children of this world for what comes next, to get it right. And that means to get it right, we have to face ourselves. The adults in the room, we have to face ourselves. Because we are the custodians. We're the custodians of the earth. We're the custodians of children. We are the custodians of ourselves, of our souls. Last but not least, we have Uranus. It's at the other end of the blue bar. Wisps of wing-like clouds streaming across the sky. The awareness of spiritual forces at work. Any emergence of life potentialities from the depth of the vast unconsciousness is answered by the spiritual activity of superconscious forces in a cosmic kind of antiphony. It's a back and forth. It's a dance. The individual who has taken a new step in their evolution should look for the, quote, signature of divine powers confirming their progress. It may reveal the meaning of what is to come next. The wing-like clouds may also symbolize the presence of celestial beings, devas, angels, blessing and subtly revealing the direction to take, the direction of the wind of destiny. It's talking about the unseen guiding us, making their presence known, and to look for the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities. And it goes with number 3C. The unseen said, on the wings of love hyphen wisdom. So on the wings of wisdom, on the wings of love. And they said, ride the wave hyphen waves. And then I saw the image of angelics, like angelic angels trumpeting. So they're saying to us, the unseen is saying to us, on the wings of love, on the wings of wisdom, ride the waves. This Sabian symbol is talking about the wisps of cloud-like wings. It says, this symbol concludes a process, having experienced, which the individual should find themselves more securely established in their own original nature. Back to the dove, that first quote, coming back to it. Progress is often marked by a slow return to original sincerity, to original nature. And so, receiving the blessings of supernatural forces. So this Sabian symbol, Uranus, expect the unexpected, this moment, is saying that we are to receive the blessings of supernatural forces, original intelligence, original nature. Be in alignment with your soul, with your original nature, with your soul source connection, not your ego, mind, personality, or the shadow side of it. Yes, we need a healthy ego, mind, personality to initiate and yet we need them in harmony and balance with the soul, with the original nature, the original intelligence. So last but not least, I'm going to share this final quote, and it sums everything up. It says, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. And it's a proverb. And we've had this where they spoke to us the unseen, and there's a beautiful quote that said, your character is your fate. And this is all about this moment, because they're saying to us, number 6, they left us with, I heard the song Imagine All the People by John Legend, Imagine. And the lyrics, I just want to give you, imagine all the people living for today. Imagine all the people living life in peace. There are 3 times this line comes in. And imagine all the people sharing all the world. Number 6, and they asterisked it, it's about spirit and service. Imagine all the people. And then this song, Imagine, that it's a world different than the one we've lived in. These are the key aspects and the key points. And last but not least, I've said that 4 times, I think, so bear with me. Number 4 from the unseen was, Hey Sister, Go Sister, Soul Sister. It's from the song Lady Marmalade. And it's about a liberation, a freedom, a return. And how this moment of coming to meet and encounter the divine feminine and the aspect of the divine feminine within us, and this original intelligence and this original nature, it is the world before us. It was the one that came before us, and it is the one literally before us. This is the moment, the capstone moment that we are in. And it's just flippin' powerful. So let me know in the comments how this all resonates with all of you. It will be very interesting. Remember, the first 3 months, it's wide open opportunity. I'm sorry, the first 4 months, wide open opportunity. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's going to be like a trickster, ha ha ha. It's driving forward, utilizing the rear view mirror as an asset. The first 7 months, it's all systems go. The latter half, August on, it's a mixed bag of nuts and surprises. And yet, overall, they are saying to persevere, to prevail, and they're and to rise up in a powerful, positive way. Respond, don't react. It's this kind of energy. And these are the elements that we are dealing with. I'm so thankful for you all. I know we've gone really long. However, it was important to get all of this out. And with that, thank you for your shares. Thank you, Ava, for such a beautiful piece that was so poignant and on point. And for your beauty and presence, thank you. And to this beautiful soul family, thank you so much for being on this journey. You make it extremely rich, and I just can't imagine it without you. So I look forward to seeing where this all goes, and we will join back up again next week as we move into the final day, 131. We have one more week in January, and we will see what the energies are that they in this moment, this capstone moment. All right, until then, be safe, be well, and be kind and gentle with yourselves.